Hi there, John McLaughlin here. Welcome to another trading session. We're going to be trading the Crossfire strategy like you've known that I've done previously with gold. But today we're going to introduce Forex pairs, a Forex scalping strategy with the Crossfire strategy. It works incredibly well. It's something that I've started to incorporate. So it's the same strategy, but just different pairs. So we're going to be trading Euro and GBP pairs. And this happens at 6 a.m. GMT, 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. GMT. So you're going to find this really interesting. Gold reacts differently, or Forex pairs react slightly differently to gold. But essentially the strategy is just the same. And the amount of pips and the profit that you can make is similar as well. So once again, thank you to all the subscribers, people that have subscribed. It just lets me know that you're liking the information and you're taking it further. And really, you know, if you've got any questions, anything that you want to know, just drop me a comment below. And if you get some value from these videos, then please subscribe to the channel and comment, like and share as well. All right, let's get going with today's strategy. All right, good morning everybody, hope you're all well. It's John McLaughlin here. So you've probably known me and seen my videos on Crossfire Gold, and what we're going to be looking at today are the Crossfire strategy using 4 different pairs. Okay, let me just show you what we've got. First of all, let me just say that we're currently having a heat wave at the moment in the UK, and I've got a fan on, I've got the window open. That's why I've got the microphone quite close to me. So if you hear any whirring noises, that's what it is. So just bearing up with the heat. All right. So first thing we've got on the 15-minute time frame, we've got the British pound, Australian dollar. We've got the British pound, New Zealand dollar, and on the other chart on Trading View, we've got the Euro Australian dollar and the Euro New Zealand dollar. And as you can see, we've got everything set up as we would for any Crossfire session gold. We've got the box on, so we've got, this is 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. in the morning. It's currently 6:09. The other thing you can tell if it's 6:09 is this face. I don't normally get up very early, so it's yeah, it's an early one, and it's about 85 degrees currently. So we've got the box on each of the pairs. We've got the trend lines on ready, so we're going to put those trend lines on. We're going to set the position at 6:15. so this candle is currently doing its thing. When it's painted and finished, we'll be able to put those trend lines on. And if you've been following the Crossfire Gold strategy, then you'll know how to put those trend lines on. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. And the reason I put two pairs on the same screen is because it allows me just to control what I see. Instead of flitting between 4 screens, I can just toggle between 2 screens, and the same with the MT4. Get everything set up, and what I've got is the Euro pairs on one side and the GBP pairs on the other side. And we're not looking to take every single trade. We're looking at maybe taking 1 trade or maybe 2 trades, whatever you can handle. Okay, so you know, we're not looking at getting ourselves in a position where we get stressed, where we get flustered. Again, when I always say, stay in control, keep in control, have everything in front of you, and wait for the trades to come to you. So what is the trend done at the moment? The trend of, in fact, everything is very similar. You can see this pattern is very similar to this pattern, and this pattern up and down is very similar. So all these pairs are very similar. So if we start with the pound Australian dollar, price has gone to the top, 1.74, and it's currently where it's at now. The stochastic, even though it's a lagging indicator, is telling us that it's been oversold, and it's now into the extreme of the oversold, as is the pound New Zealand dollar. That's very similar. It's gone into the oversold area, and it's showing us into the extreme. Same with this. the Euro Australian dollar and the Euro New Zealand dollar, and again the pattern is very, very similar. So what are we looking at for it to do? Well, potentially we're looking at we should be looking at buy situations based on this information. However, once we get the trend lines on, we'll have a better idea of what's going on. The moving averages on here. So starting from, well, we'll start from here. So the yellow is the 5 moving average. The red here is the 50 moving average. In fact, this red one, that's 50 moving average. This moving average here, as you can see, this one changes colour. This is the 13 moving average, and this is one of the indicators that we've got, and the indicator that we're using is the Ninjacator. See, it's Ninja down and Ninja up alert. Okay, this gives us a warning system, an early warning system, to get into the trade, also potentially get into the trade. Further up, the blue is the 200 moving average, and right at the very top here is the 800 moving average. Okay, that's what we've got. We've got the same setup for all the pairs. So 1613. I'm just waiting to see, just waiting for the time. 1615. We'll put these trend lines on. So what we're looking at doing is, if I just make this a little bit bigger. So this candle, okay, you can see the wick at the top, and you can see just a tiny wick at the bottom, just there. We're looking at putting the trend line on the higher high next to this candle, and the lower low next to this candle. So the high at the moment from this wick is here. So this candle, this wick is bigger, and I think this wick is lower as well. So if the lowest wick was this one, we put it on there. Okay, so let's put the magnet tool on. So that's going to snap to there, because that's the lower low, and this one is the higher high. And what we're going to do, we'll put the same one on here. So same for that one. The higher high is that one, and the lower low, we'll put it on there. Take the magnet tool off, and then what we'll do, we'll put this trend line just to sit on top of this 6 o'clock wick, just there. Okay, and we'll put this trend line on the bottom of the wick. It's just a tiny bit there, that's where it is. Just alright, just there. Same with this one, top of the wick and bottom of the wick. If there's no wick, then just see if you can hit the middle from there. Alright, GBP pairs, we'll put the magnet tool back on. So this is the candle. The higher high next to this one is the same, it's this one here. And the lower low, they're about the same. No, I think the lower low is the red candle. Just tight, just a little bit. Do the same for this one. The higher high next to this one is, I mean, you looking at these, you'd think it was the same pair. The lower low, yeah, again it's the same. So that is there. This one is the top. Same for this one. Just top of that candle, and this one just the bottom. There. So what we want is we want the price to go above the green trend line for a buy on all 4 pairs, and we want the price to come below the red trend line for a sell. And there are certain nuances, there are certain things that I'm going to go through. I'm going to show you exactly what we need to do. So I'm just going to talk you through these trades, and this strategy is really simple. No need to get flustered with it or intimidated by it. And remember that the essence of trading is waiting for trades to come to you. They say 90% of all success in trading is psychology. If you've lost trades by chasing trades, over leveraging or second guessing your strategy, then you are acting from your emotional brain. The part of your brain called the monkey brain. It makes you act without thinking and then calls you names for losing. Access my brand new resource, Teaching the Monkey to Trade. This training is designed to improve consistency and results, teaching you proven NLP techniques. You'll also get access to an exclusive interview with trader and master NLP practitioner about learning 90% of what it takes to succeed. Get free access to the resource and interview by clicking the direct link in the description below. So where are we at right now? Okay, so this is the euro pairs, and actually what we need to do is we need to put this back onto 5 minute. This is where we take the ideas from the 5 minute time frame. I'm going to put this back on here. These are all on 15 minutes. So you put all the boxes and the trend lines whilst you're on the 15 minute time frame, and then switch to the 5 minute time frame to take all your ideas from. So right now, the pound New Zealand dollar, as you can see, it's approaching, well, it's on the trend line. Okay, but what we need to do, and we can see that the stochastic is starting to tail up, but the price needs to hit this PSAR, this parabolic stop and reverse. Okay, and when the price goes up to there, then the PSAR will flip, go underneath, and then we'll see if conditions will be met. So we then, after the PSAR has flipped, we then need to look to see if we get a ninja up alert, and then see where price is from there. Okay, so the first one, what I tend to do is look at the way price is going, and look at the pairs that are looking that they're in the right position. Okay, so at the moment that one is maybe going for a buy. And the same position here, we've got the PSAR at the bottom. Okay, so we've already got the ninja up alert, but what's happening here, just got sideways consolidation, and you can see where the price is right now in this zone. Okay, so if you, let's make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Oh, that's better. So you've got the zone, and then you've got where it crosses over. Okay, and where you don't want to be in this position. Okay, you don't want to be there. You never want to take a trade there. If we were going to take a trade here, then the price would want to be above. Okay, and you'd want a gap. So this price would go up, it would close off, it would form a new candle, we'd have a gap, and then we would potentially look at a price. And then the next thing we would look at is where's the moving average. Okay, this is the 50 moving average. Do we have enough pips? Bearing in mind we're looking at, 10 pips, sometimes 5 pips, depending on the way that the price action is at the time. Do we have enough pips to take the trade? Okay, if price shoots past that, and you can see how price is starting to come alive now, then the next possible take profit level could be here. Okay, bearing in mind we're looking at taking 5 pips, 10 pips. So this is interesting. Okay, so there's 3.5 minutes left on this time frame, and if price goes up, forms a new candle, let's say it forms a new candle here, where have we got? We've got 6 pips left on that. Alright, so it's not huge, but at the moment, excuse me, and you can see when I said that it needs to flip the PSAR, so the price needs to go up, hit that PSAR. That's what it's done, and it's flipped. That's where the PSAR is now. We've now got the ninja up alert. So potentially with this one is if price continues and it's above the green trend line and it forms a new candle, so we've got a gap between the trend line and the body of the candle, and it keeps going in the right direction, then potentially we could get a 10 pips out of that one. All right, so that's the Euro NZD. Same thing for this. This is looking better. The pound New Zealand dollar, we've got that gap. Okay, so PSAR has flipped. The stochastic is moving upwards, so that's potentially a good trade. Potentially, I say. 1 minute and 54 left on that time frame. And from the Ninja up alert, from there, it's gone up to 7.7 pips at the moment. But just because you get the PSAR, just because you get the Ninja up, just because the moving averages in the right direction, doesn't mean you always just rush in, take a trade. And just wait, be patient, and wait for conditions to be met. And what I'm waiting for right now is we've got 1 minute and 15 left on this time frame. What I would like to see is if this formed a new candle around here, pushed up, then that will give me a better indication that there was a bit more positivity that it's a good trade. And again, looking at taking 10 pips from that. One thing I haven't checked, which I should have before, but not to worry, are the news. Alright, so GBP. So we've got Euro in 35 minutes, and in another, so 35 minutes we've got the Euro and GBP news. So let's have a look at the GBP pairs. So news is here. Put our vertical line on. There we go. So GBP NZD. We're currently in this trade for the GBPNZD. So where we're at right now is we've got 11 pips in that trade. So one thing to look at as well when you're on your MT4 is also look at the broker spread. So when you trade in sort of different times like this, the spread may be a little bit higher because of the crossover of exchanges. So that's always something to bear in mind when you're looking at your take profit levels as well, because it can affect things. If you've only got 5 pips in the trade between the price and say the moving average, look at your broker spread and see if it's actually worth getting in, because sometimes it might not be. So we're still in that trade. So we've got the Ninja up on the Euro as well. But again, what's happening there is that the price is still touching the trend line, and what I like to see is I like to see the clear air, so between there and pushing up. Okay, clear air above the trend line. If it's touching the trend line, or if it's dragging its feet sort of like this, so it's started there and now it's there, even though it's above the trend line, I still like to see clear air from there. All right, clear air above the trend line, so like this, it's clear air. Okay, and then this is what I like to see. So on this time frame, 15 seconds left. The euro, New Zealand dollar. Bear in mind we've got some euro news coming up at the same time. So again, this one potentially could be a good trade. It's the same situation as the other pair, in that we've got this on there, so this is going to be half decent. So euro NZD, bit slow getting that one. Anyway, okay, so we're in positive. We're a few pips up with the British pound. Once it gets to about this area here, then I'll be out of the trade. So with the euro Australian, nothing really happening. As you can see, we've got sideways rotation, and we're also still in this zone here, so we don't want to be anywhere near there. And you can see all this indecision as well. Okay, so nothing happening with that yet. So it's euro NZD and British pound NZD. Now, as a good rule of thumb, what you don't really want to be doing is entering the same currency pair. So I'm in NZD for both, and you can see both trades are doing similar things, but they're both going to the upside, so it's okay. But to limit your risk, to look at your risk management, just enter one pair of the same currency. That's what I'm saying, same pair. So the British pound, Australian dollar, would you get into this? If you look at the state of the moving average here, the 50 moving average, it's so close to the moving average, there's not really enough room. What you would do is, at any moving average, at any line on your chart, is either going to bounce or break. Okay, and if it broke past there, okay, had clear air, then potentially we could get into that trade and go to this area here, okay, for the next moving average. But currently we're just going to be sit and wait. We're going to be patient. So euro NZD, as you can see, it's kind of toying at this area here. We've got the ninja up, we've got the PSAR flip. Just got to sit and wait, see what happens. And you can see compared with gold, you can see how much slower the Forex pairs are. And again, it's a different mindset to get in a trade and then go, okay, let's just see how it goes. It's slower than gold, it's not quite as volatile. You know, we don't have the 25-second, you know, in and out of a trade and done. We have to wait. That's what we're doing. So the next moving average is up here, which would be nice if it went all the way up to there. So with the stochastic, I know some people don't like the stochastic because it's a lagging indicator. It doesn't tell you what's happened. It tells you what it's not a predictor. It doesn't tell you what's going to happen. Nothing really ever does. It's a lagging indicator, so it tells you what's happened in the past. But I just like to see this. I just like to see it for my own benefit. And what you'll find as well is this moving average will act as either a support or resistance. So you'll find that when it goes up to this level, it will do, as I said, it will do two things. It will bounce or break. And what I'm going to do is use this level here as my take profit. So currently 5-6 pips up on this one, and with the euro, he's just doing the same thing. I'll call it a day on that one. Quite happy with that. Taking profits at that level. So what we can potentially do is see how this performs at this level, and then if we have clear air above, then again potentially we could get another trade as it goes up to the next moving average, the blue one, the 200. Okay, but right now let's go and have a look at the so the euro New Zealand dollar, that's making its move, and we want that one to go up to this moving average. That would be a nice move for us. So from here, sweet spot, as I always say with the Crossfire strategy, is 10 pips. So on the other pairs, the Australian dollar, again, still bouncing around this trend line, this area here, and it's still got it's dragging its feet down here. So we're not really interested in this until we get clear air, and then we can go up for there. And what have we got? So it's just formed a new candle. So nice big body, smaller body, indecision, and now we've got an indecision candle here. So is this potentially going to turn? Let's just see what happens with that one. Okay, now you can see price on this one, the moving average, it's just hovering around this area. Okay, were we right to get out at the sort of, what do we make, 8 pips? Maybe. You're looking at that, I'm still thinking there's room for this to move a bit further upwards, and maybe do the same as what we did on the previous pair, where the price goes up to the moving average. So one of the things about this is, as a new trader, as a enthusiastic trader, shall we say, it's tempting to look at all the pairs and think you've got to get in all the pairs, and you haven't. I would say get into one pair at the most when you're first learning, particularly if you're on a live account. If you're just learning anyway, be on a demo account, and just limit things so you are comfortable. Okay, as soon as you take one trade, okay, potentially a lot of people go outside the comfort zone. You take 2 trades, then it can become more stressful. If you're looking at taking more than a few trades at the same time, you need a system in place, and you need to know what you're doing. Okay, so what is your system for entering and exit trades if you're going to do it manually? Okay, do you trade on your phone? Do you trade on MT4 on your desktop? You know, what is it? And that's what I'm saying. You want to be in that nice, comfortable position where you're able to go, yeah, there we are, we're in a trade, and everything's nice, and yeah, we're out of a trade, and we've taken profits for the day, and things are still good. So with this trade, like I said, it's had the potential to breathe. We're giving it the space, and we're going to get out at this moving average here, which is not far from now. And as you can see right now, the euro Australian dollars just decided to go slightly ballistic. But will we be interested in this? No, because it's still touching this trend line. It's still below the trend line actually. So if we're going to get into this trade, we want it to go into the clear air, but then as soon as it goes into the clear air, it's going to be about here, and there's going to be no movement unless it pushes past the moving average. but there's going to be no real space for us to make profits here. So what do? We sit, we're patient, and we wait for the trades to come to us. We don't chase the trades. So have a quick look at the euro pair, the GBP pairs, and see what they're doing. Now you can see that's pushed past the trend line. That's encouraging. So we've got 3 seconds left on this time frame, and potentially that one now could go to this trend line here, this moving average. So space from where it is now to that moving average is 40 pips. It's a potential. The same for the euro Australian, that's now above the moving average. So again, potentially that one could do something. So the previous price on here went up to here, and then it bounced. It didn't actually quite make the moving average, but it bounced down again. It retraced, and then we're now back in a position where it may well, this time, may have the momentum to go up to this moving average, and maybe we'll even push past it. But again, we're still waiting. We're still patient. So you can see this price was straddling, if that's the right word for a Tuesday morning, straddling this moving average, and what we want is clear air from the moving average upwards, and again this candle is still touching that moving average, so we're not quite ready, we're not quite in a position for the buy yet, if at all. Okay, this one is still thinking about it. The New Zealand dollar still thinking. Remember, if it goes down to this level here, this is where we'll get out of the trade, but I'm still confident it's going to go up to the moving average. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Who cares? So I've got 1:10 on this time frame, and we'll see where this one ends up. Again, if it's below the moving average, then we're still in the situation that we are now, waiting. But this would be a nice trade if it broke free of that, and then we've got this room here to breathe all the way up to this moving average. So again, the euro pair is having a go again. It's a little bit indecisive, but my thoughts are it's still got potential to go up to this moving average, and then we'll get out the trade. There we go, look, see that as it is right now would be a nice trade, and that's the pound New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar. So the Euro NZD, it's not really doing a huge amount. We're in profit, and usually with the euro, sometimes the sweet spot for the euro is just 5 pips. Still got a bit of room for it to breathe, so we'll just let that go. So what I'm doing as well is I'm looking at the price here, and I'm looking at my pipsometer and pip counter on MT4, and that's giving me an indication of where I am in the market. If you want access to the pip counter, then I've got a video on there. In fact, I'll put it on the cards. Where'll it be? Somewhere up here. Okay, you can have a look at that. You can download the pipsometer and pip counter for free, and I'll give you access to that. Full instructions on how to install it on your MT4, so you can get on there as well. So we're still in profits with this, but it's just it's toying with us. So it's going to go up. It's got to go up. Well, it hasn't got to go anywhere, but it's going to go up to here. What I might do is, let's just have a look at the, so we're in the trade for here, so waiting for this just to potentially get our 10 pips out of here. So we've got, this is the euro, and I say it's still toying with us. This is the higher high. The higher high is there at the moment. It's just going to break. Is it going to break that higher high? Right, there we go. That's nice. That'll do us. Another 6 pips to there, and yeah, we could have got a lot more pips out of that. But as you can see, we are in this trade as well. That's currently in profits. So again, just like the previous trade, we've taken profits, we're out, we're going to wait until there's a new candle form. We've got 5 minutes left on this time frame. We're going to wait and see what happens here. Now we can use the exit manager, and using something like the exit manager we could have taken partial profits and then had a risk-free trade all the way up to here, or with the exit manager what you have is a moving stop loss, so the stop loss will move with you, so we could use that to take more profits, take 50% profits out, let the rest of them ride. But as you can see, price will start respecting this area here. When it forms a new candle, then we'll make a decision as to whether we get back in this or not. So we're still in this, the British pound, New Zealand dollar. And one of the things I might do is we've got this high impact news here. We're in profits. I might close it out where it is now. 2 minutes left on this time frame, and then when this news kicks in, and I said with the gold Crossfire gold strategy, I always wait for the news, because you know that the markets are going to be seriously manipulated in whatever direction. So 2 minutes 53, or 2.5 minutes on this time frame. The stochastic is in the extreme, so it's snaking along the top, which read into what you want, because it's the stochastic, but I like to have it on there. I like to see where price has been. So the thing is, when the news kicks in, we don't know what's going to happen. We know that we're going to end up with manipulation at some point. This price could shoot all the way up to its moving average, or it could bottom. It could go all the way down to here. All right, we just don't know. So I'm going to exit this. I'm going to exit that break even, so nothing lost. And we've got 4 seconds left, and we'll just see what else happens to this price. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so should have stayed in, and we would have potentially got our profits. Well, it would have. But the thing is, with news, you don't know what's going to happen. So do you want to be in a trade wishing you were out of it, or out of a trade wishing you were in? Or indeed, in a trade wishing you hadn't cashed out, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We've taken quite a bit of profits at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to let that do its thing. because clearly what we've got now is we've got manipulation that us retail traders have no control of. All right. Now, yeah, it spiked up for a second, came back down, and we're now back to where we were. Let's have a quick look at the euro pairs. So the euro went nicely to the upside. So a little bit of indecision, but we do have euro news at the same time. So from here we've got that's finished. Okay, euro news here. Sorry, euro news, an hour and 58. So right now, with the GBP pairs, news has kicked in, and I did manipulate the price all the way up to here, but nothing really drastic. So with the exception of the news, the price still looks favourable for a buy situation. I would argue the same with the euro as well. Euro NZD, even though price is showing a red candle coming down for a sell, still movement enough for this to go up. If we were going to take a sell, then we'd have to wait for price to go all the way down to hit this PSAR, for the PSAR then to flip, and then for the price to then go below this trend line, again with clear air between the body of the candle and this trend line, or even the wick of the candle in this trend line. So we're 703, and we're just looking at the response to the high impact news on the dollar, on the British pound. So we've got British pound news at 7 o'clock, 4 minutes in, and it's taken price to the downside with that initial push to the upside. So was I right to get out a break even on this trade? And the thing is, with news you can't predict what's going to happen, and for retail traders, which is what we are, then the news is designed to take retail traders out of the market, which is what it's doing right now, because it's kind of going against everything we have on the chart. So we've got the Ninja up, we've got the PSAR flip, we've got the moving averages in the right direction to go for a buy. We've got the stochastic in the extreme of the top, so it's telling me it's been overbought. So that's what it's telling me. So on the pound Australian dollar, we're now showing we've got a Ninja down, and it's also flipped the PSAR to the top. Okay, so again, as I said, if we're going to get into this trade, we'd want the price to go below the red trend line and have some clear air to the downside. Similar situation throughout here. We've got the Euro Australian dollar, which again, we've got the Ninja up. The 13 moving average that changes colour is currently green. We've pushed past the 50 moving average, and we're nice bit of a gap between the 200. However, what's the euro doing against the New Zealand dollar? It's kind of doing the same thing, but there's no real clear indication of where price wants to go. As you can see, the last few candles, we've got this sideways rotation, which telling us this could well be back into consolidation after this push to the upside. The Euro New Zealand dollar is showing us, in fact both of these, not this one because it's still got its feet in the moving average, so it's still dragging its heel, it's still straddling. This one here potentially has got room to move up to this moving average, but so you've got this indecision candle here, this big wick, small body, call it a doji candle, looks like one of those old-fashioned spinning tops, and that's indecision. Let's go back and look at the GBP pairs. Well, looking more decisive, and it's going for going to the downside. There's the PSAR, look. And what you find with the PSAR sometimes is when you've got distance between the PSAR and the candle, can tell you that's some good volume in the market, in the direction the way it's going. So there's good volumes in there for a buy, and then that distance gets smaller and smaller and smaller to a point now where it's almost touching, and then once that price comes down, it'll flip, the PSAR go to the top, and then the price will do its thing. Okay, so there's the PSAR now. It's flipped there. It's flipped quite a distance away. So again, it's telling me that there's some decent volume in the market for a sell. However, if we're going to consider getting to a sell, it needs to go all the way down to here. Okay, and in this position here, what I would want, let's say if we were here, I would want price to come down past this area and past the green candle for a bit more of a confirmation. But this is a response to the news. So the news must have been against the British pound, because the pound is coming down in value against the New Zealand dollar. So despite what I just said about the euro possibly having room to breathe, it's coming down. Excuse me. Coming down in the same way that British pound just did. So right now it's 7:10, and having taken profits on 3 pairs, was it? Let's have a look. Yep. So we're taking profits for the day already. Again, this is perfect. This strategy is perfect if you work 9 to 5. You know, when you normally you get up at 7:30, get in the shower, have some breakfast, go to work. Now you can get up 5:30, take profits for the day, go to work, do your normal routine, but you know that you've taken profits for the day. How's that going to feel? Yeah, when all your colleagues are moaning and complaining about the price of gas, and we can't afford this and we can't afford that. You know, you've taken profits for the day. It's a great feeling, let me tell you. So we're just gonna maybe talk for another few minutes. We've been on over an hour now. Doesn't time fly? An hour and 3 minutes. It just goes so quickly, let me tell you. See, what could be happening here is, again, these are very similar. Sideways movement. We have the test to the moving average, the retrace, and then the push. Okay, so this could be happening. The other thing you want to consider as well is, having taken 3 trades today and being in profit for the day, do we want to take any more trades, and at what point do we consider our trade, or at what point do we start over trading? And I tell you what, the point when you start over trading is when you become emotionally involved in trading and you get a buzz out of it. Okay, so if you take let's say you take a trade somewhere and you go, that was fantastic, that was so great, I'm so loving this trading thing, let me get another one, because you want the feeling. Okay, it's a bit like when you're bidding for something on eBay, you know, you have the highest bidder, yes, you know. And this is the sort of thing you want to be mindful of and wary of, because when you're trading, you don't want to be psychologically involved, you don't want to be emotionally involved, you want to be detached from it. Okay, so yeah, we're going to a trade. Excellent, that's it. Anything else going? No, that's it. Just be like that. Just be like a robot. Just be like a flaming robot, because that's how you need to be when you're trading. Okay. You see, for me to look at this and consider this to be a trade, I would want the price to go above this higher high, because this area here, let's take it down there, sorry, horizontal ray here, this is now an area of support and resistance. In fact, it's an area of resistance. Price came up, touched it there, almost touched it there, so I want price to go above that. Okay, and is it going to get there? Well, we've been on for an hour and 15, and all I need to do now is go to that, right click it, add an alert. Okay, I want it crossing the horizontal ray. I'll just do it once and I'll click create, and what you'll see this little timer on here. That means I've set an alert on here, and when the price goes past it, the alert will go off. I can then have a look at it and I can see whether I'm going to get into a trade or not. Easy. And PSAR's at the top, so I think for the British pound, that news has affected it to that effect, and for this to be a valid sell, I would want price to go past here. So again, I could do the same thing. I could just hover over that trend line, I could right click, I can set add an alert, crossing, so GBPNZD crossing the trend line, let me know only once, let me know on the app, on the phone, show me on the pop-up on my desktop, and send me an email. Okay, how many more alerts do you need? So the next lot of news that we've got coming up is in an hour and 42, and this is for Euro. A little bit of that, but we don't really get into that. Just the Euro on there. 2 hours and 42, 3 hours and so. So unless you're going to be trading all day, then that doesn't really matter. Trading here, this is 8 o'clock, currently 7:18, and again we could put a horizontal ray on the Euro Australian dollar. Let's put it there. Okay, let's put it on this higher high, and then we can just right click, add alert, Euro Australian dollar crossing the horizontal ray, let us know once and notify us this way, click create. Okay, so that's gone off on there. Did you hear the little trumpet tune? Okay, that was this alert here letting me know that price is just touched. Okay, and what I really should have done is put it right up here. In fact, yeah, it's going for it, look. There we go. So it's now produced a higher high, and it's on this area of resistance. So remember, at any line it can do two things. It's either going to bounce or break. So we've got 20 seconds left on this time frame, and if it pushes up as it's doing right now, gives us a new candle, and we get some decent air between this trend line and the candle body, then potentially we could be looking at a trade up to here, and it's bounced. So it bounced down. It's still respecting this trend line. Or it's respecting this price point here. So it wants to push, it wants to go, but there's resistance. So even if this price started to push up quite significantly, and it kept going up and up and up, I'm not interested in the trade whilst it's touching this area. Okay, for me to know that this is a clean break, I want that gap. Okay, and you can see what price is doing right now. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna now, you know, I'm gonna go now I'm back. So Euro Australian price may well do the same sort of thing. Get to here, bounce around a little bit, but even if it gets to this area here, do we have enough left? So we've only got 9 pips left for that one. For the Euro New Zealand, we've got 26 pips, so we've got a bit more to play with. And Euro New Zealand, saying the spread is 3 pips. So we've got 1 minute and 54 left, and its price wants to go. It wants to go. Alright, so that's the alert gone off on the Euro Australian. So even though we've got this clear air, we're just going to give it a bit longer to see what happens. Sometimes it's always a good idea to wait a couple of minutes to see what's going to happen. And like you say, it's still being teased by the area. The Euro Australian is pushing in a slightly more positive way. But to this moving average is 8 pips, so you've got a potential of getting 5 pips with broker spread. So this one I'm not going to bother with. So the Euro New Zealand looks like it wants to go. Like I said, it wants to go. So the Australian dollar is clearly doing its thing. But for us, I don't think there was quite enough in it. We could have done 5 pips with that. And the other thing to note is when the Australian dollar, Euro Australian dollar, gets to that moving average, the blue line, the 200 moving average, is it going to bounce or break? And I've got a feeling it might push past it. And then we've got the 800 moving average to look at. This area here. Okay, so are we going to be in for this big push to the upside? So we're currently in profits, and that would be another good move. 19 pips to that area there. But we're not in this trade. We're in this trade here. We're just in profit, so I'll let this do its thing. So what I'm looking at is if the Euro Australian dollar pushes past, if it breaks past this moving average, then we've got a good chance of this going all the way up to this moving average. You see what it's doing? Look, see, it's just respecting that line there. It wants to go, but it's going, well, I'm not quite sure. There's a bit of resistance there. Just keeps bouncing off. It's going to have another go, or bounce off and have another go, and then it'll either do 2 things: bounce or break. The way price is at the moment, I think it's got the volume in the market to push past that. So now this is a euro pair, and the sweet spot for euro pairs is 5 pips. That's where we are now. But my instinct is telling me that price wants to go past. Yeah, so price is just pushing past. The Euro Australian dollar is just pushing past. I said to you, it wants to go. It wants to go. If it does go, and it pushes past it, then we can get a few more pips out of this. Right, I think we're going to call it a day at break even. I think it's going to do too much now. No, got still telling me it's going to go. You have that test, that retrace, and then a push to the upside. I think that's where it's going to go, but time's getting on, and we're going to call it a day at that, I think. Yeah, sweet spot was 5 pips. We got in at 5 pips, and I should have taken profits at 5 pips. I've closed out now, a little bit of a loss on that. But again, you know, time's getting on, and I just want to close everything out before I get on with stuff. I still think this has got room to go up, so we're going to just put a little indicator. Where are we going to put it? I'm going to put one here. So we got out there. I'm still thinking this. We'll do this. So it's gone there. And it's going to do that. So there we are. There was the Forex, the Crossfire Forex pairs. We've done profits in what, 7:15. We did profits. So I hope you enjoyed that session, and you can join me on the next one. The Crossfire Forex pairs trading the Euro and the GBP pairs. Okay, John McLaughlin here, just coming back. It's 9:10 in the morning, and just want to give you a bit of a summary of what happened to the Euro New Zealand dollar. So this arrow here is where we got, I think we got out, I think either got in or out, I think we got out. We took a small loss on this, even though it went to 5 pips in profit, and I did say that the price wants to go to this 200 moving average. The price on the Euro AUD, Euro Australian dollar, it went to the moving average, and then it pushed up, and you can see how price respected the 800 moving average there. A lot of nice pips to be had from this area that we looked at previously on the session. The way to make more profit with any strategy is to test it and back test it and just do more and more trades. We had profits for the day, so we're okay. We're not, you know, we didn't lose anything. We made our profits for the day. However, as I said before on the session, the price wanted to go to the moving average. I just wanted to show you that it did go to the moving average, and on the Euro New Zealand dollar almost touched the 800. Now my profit level, I think I've got my brush line here. My profit level would have been the 200 moving average, and that would have given you around, so we got in about here, didn't we? So that would have given us around 20 pips. We'll be conservative. Towards the line, 23 pips. It went to 36 pips before moving to the downside. And as I say, Euro Australian dollar, we did the same thing. We put the alert on here. This was an area of previous resistance. We then looked at the fact that if the price broke out, okay, it probably would have been good to go to that moving average. That's what it did before it retraced, and then it went back up to the moving average, and then up to the 800. So again, using the moving averages as potential take profit levels can work really well. And again, the relationship between the Forex pairs and gold, if you're used to watching me doing gold, is a little bit different, because the Forex pairs aren't quite as volatile. But I just wanted to show you that, to show you what happened with these two pairs, with the moving averages. And I hope you enjoyed the session. Hope you got some value from this, and join me on the next session when I'll be trading gold on the Crossfire Gold, and I'm going to be trading the Forex pairs on Crossfire as well. All right, we'll speak next time. Bye for now.